Good morning. It's July 11th, Sunday, 10 a.m. Welcome to Eye to Eye. And this is all about having improv conversations. And today our topic is all about change and coping with change. On behalf of our host, Gabe Mercado, my name is Carl Echaluce, being your substitute host for today. And today we're going to talk about, how improv helps us adjust to the unexpected, to the unpredicted, to the unpredictable. And we're looking at how different people adjust to all the different things that life throws their ways. Today, our guests are Sabrina, Vina, and Dennis, and we'll all welcome them at the same time. Welcome to Eye, Sabrina, Vina, Dennis. Magandang umaga sa inyo.
Morning. Good morning.
Good, good morning to all.
Good morning to all.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yes.
I think I'll start by let's say hello to everyone and let us know where you are right now. So we got a sense. So I'm here in the city of Baguio at ang temperature is mga 19 degrees dito. Good morning and aloha.
I'll go next. My name's Sabrina, checking in. Charot, joke lang. And I am in Siargao right now.
Oh, wow. Cool.
Yes.
Morning. Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Dennis, and I'm in Venice Beach, California. So it's afternoon here, but might as well be morning as well for me. Yeah. Okay.
And good
What time
morning,
is it there,
everyone.
Dennis? Sorry.
I'm sorry.
What time is it
Uh,
there?
It's 7 p.m. 7 p.m.
Yeah.
Bakit
Okay.
ako
And
nag-afternoon? Okay.
oo nga, good evening na pala. Good
Oh,
evening.
kasi the sun is still up. Okay, it feels like
Right.
afternoon. Sorry. Okay.
So good morning, everyone. My name is Vina, and I am, unlike everybody, I am in a luxury resort town here in Miranila, Quezon City. Yeah, I'm at home. I'm in my house. That's my kitchen over there.
Okay, so I'm gonna get right into it. What are the biggest changes in your life the past 2 years? Agad, jump.
2020, pinag-iisipan pa ba yung 2020?
Mhm. Okay, I'll start with the obvious for me. And that is 2019. Okay, 2019. Actually, the same month that I finished level 2 after the showcase of level 2 sa Third World Improv. A week after that, I went here to the US. And not so much I had a plan. Okay, get this. I didn't really plan to settle here at that time. I said I'll just give myself a really long vacation because
Okay.
I was so sick and tired of where I am in the Philippines. So
How,
and
how
then
exactly? How would you describe what you were doing in the Philippines when you left?
Okay, with all due respect to the industry and its denizens, I was in advertising, PR, and marketing communications, which, okay, it was just me. I was so sick and tired of doing it. Okay, I had great memories and fair share of depressing moments in that industry. But okay, it's really me deciding to just take a break from it. But
Right.
like you, as the format of this show is right now, okay, the theme is really all about constant change and dealing with the unexpectedly. Okay, I looked into my status and somehow I realized I can adjust it. That's a long story, that's another story, but I was able to do something to adjust my status. And luckily, alam mo, after 1 week, I was, no, not 1 week, 2 weeks, I was able to get a job that I like. So, okay, so ko, oh my goodness. Sandali. Masyadong, okay, suddenly everything happened. Everything happened. And believe you me, if it's not for the improv background that I had, wherein, di ba, the foundation really is yes and then commit.
Right.
Ah.
Parang, I wouldn't have handled it better. I mean, well,
Mm.
this compared to if I didn't take improv, siguro parang ano ko, lito, depressed,
Mm.
yung parang ano, but yun, I just told myself, it presented itself, so what do I do? Eh di, yes and na lang to. Sige, sabak lang ng sabak. So, I think that's how improv influenced me deciding to stay here.
Mm.
And then, yeah, do what I could. That's
I,
it.
I'm,
Yeah.
I'm surprised at the background that pwede pa nating laliman to. Yung talagang,
Yeah.
your intention was to take a well-deserved vacation.
Mm.
Yes,
And
as in
you
sabi
ended up
ko,
rooting yourself completely.
oo, as in uprooting and then setting, ayun, but uh, ang inisip ko, okay, if I go back, then I'm just going to do the same thing again, or maybe
Oo.
suffering in silence again. But here, it presented an exciting possibility as I move forward. Na wow, okay,
Yeah.
unknown. But again, going back to improv is actually dealing with the unknown.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
And I
yon,
the reason why I wanted you to be a guest, Dennis, is because you're one of the few in the improv community naka-age ko.
parang
Magka-age,
nasitan.
magka-age
Magka,
kami ni Dennis, and I can just attest that at our age, we're pretty settled. Our
Yeah.
yes,
sense of
Yeah. Yeah.
adventure is usually, ano na, tumatahimik ka na. But you
Yeah.
uprooted yourself completely
Yeah.
in, wag na
mhm,
natin pagandahan, in middle age.
yes, yes, and it's okay. It's highly unusual siguro in a conventional sense because tama
Mm.
ka, Gabe. At this age, parang ang expectation would be you should have settled, like you either have a family of your own or if you're single, dapat you already own a property, you're
Yeah.
planning for retirement. I don't know. All those things na dapat yung the usual standards of success.
Mm.
However, maybe I always had a different take on everything. Like for me, I should I always look for another adventure.
Yeah.
Another one, and this presented itself. So I don't know. For me, my definition of success, din naman, even before I left, was whenever I can decide to be where I am, doing what I want. So that's how I define it. So it doesn't
Right.
matter whatever. So yes, I
Right.
uprooted myself, but I think I made the right choice. Yun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Siyempre
Yeah.
maraming mga fans si Dennis, mga so
Oo
proud of
nga.
you.
Hi, it's Jusera si
Correct.
Emily.
Oy, hi, Marie.
I am.
Oo.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're gonna get into this a little bit more. Let's go to the opposite side of the spectrum muna.
Mhm. Yes.
From middle age, we go to somebody in her early 20s. Let's go to
Yeah, oo.
Sabrina.
Ay, hindi
Uh,
pala ako.
Ay,
Sabrina.
akala ko si Vina din eh.
Sabrina.
Well, Sabrina, what's it like? What have the past 2 or 3 years been like for you? How has your life changed?
Well, first was I graduated back in 2018. So I think
Mm.
tama ba?
Yeah.
Just checking the year. But yeah, I graduated 2018, so I went straight to work. So that was really completely different from college life, university, and whatnot. And then having a year of work, then you go into lockdown is also different because I think that's one of the things a lot of us never really experienced, or most of us never experienced, to just work from home and deal with everything inside the house that you never really do when you're already working outside. So, being a student, I always wanted to balance a lot of things, like do arts at the side while I was studying and doing part-time work. But then when I graduated, I realized that you had to focus on one thing muna, because handling too many things, especially when you're in a new type of setting, is very
Yeah.
difficult because you can't really put 100% of your energy in it. So I had to kind of like slow down in the art side and just focus on work for, like, let's say 3 months or so, para I can really get in the zone. And then once I got the flow of it, that's when art started coming back, and it was really fun because you could be two people in like one day. Parang kang Hannah Montana, ganun.
Yeah, yeah.
Sa umaga events, tapos sa gabi tumutugtog ka, which was really cool. And that was like one of the biggest changes, learning to really like say no, and when you have enough of on your plate, like you just have to let yourself
Yeah.
say it's okay. You don't need to do a lot of things, which is weird because I used to do a lot of things. When I was young. I'm still young, but
When you were young,
When I
you're
was young.
saying when you were young in this company.
and yes, yes, yes. Ayun. But yeah, I mean, aside from that, the lockdown was like one of the biggest changes as well. Because I'm an extrovert, so it's just I always am
Hindi
on the go.
halata.
I'm always
Hindi
outside.
halata.
Shy po ako today. Joke lang. But yeah, it's just crazy kasi parang you had to find ways to just still feel that your energy was going somewhere, even if you're just facing the screen. And then that's when you like start to see where you can care for yourself more, like introspectively. I didn't used to like washing dishes a lot, but now I can do it for like 30 minutes to an hour. You can just give me all the plates for 3 days and I don't mind because it's that kind of relaxing or relief feeling na,
Yeah.
that's some of the things that you find in the pandemic na parang, hey, long showers or like plates are nice.
Thank you,
Nice,
thank you,
nice,
Sab.
nice.
And one of the big reasons why I invited Sab is because when I look back at my 20s and the years after graduation at wala pang pandemic noon,
Mm.
um, it was one of the most turbulent, those were some of the most turbulent and it turned out life-defining
Yeah.
years. And struggling with all that. So, well, that's one of the big reasons why she's here, aside from the stories about adjusting to that
Yeah.
pandemic. And now back to somebody closer to my age.
Sab, ikaw daw yun. Ikaw pa rin yun.
Ako pala yun, sorry.
We'll go to Vina. How have you been,
Yes.
Vina?
You know what? Thinking about it now, no, because I started improv in 2018, the year
Yeah.
that Sab graduated. No, I started improv in 2018, and I think it kind of gave me a foundation for what happened in 2020. Because I'm a and it's no secret to anyone. No, I joined improv because I was a trainer. I'm a business owner and I'm a trainer, and I do a lot of face to face work. No, and then so I thought improv was going to be helpful in that sense, but it did a lot more. Because when the pandemic happened, so yun nga, training, di ba? My business is in training, and I had a old school pa to. I had a whiteboard. My business partner and I had a whiteboard full of stuff
Ano,
already for
training ano?
2020. As in, punong-puno na siya. As in, by June, we would have probably already been set. Parang we didn't have to work the next half of the year because na front load na lahat in 2020. And then all of a sudden, literally, I saw the whiteboard getting erased, one line after another. Literally, it was that. So, I think improv, yun na, yes and, di ba? As Dennis said, no, yung yes and, the principle of yes and. And when I started doing improv, one of the things that I learned was to recognize my emotions, recognize my feelings. Because I only ever had one feeling. No, two. I had feelings of condescension and I had feelings of anger. Yun. Yun lang talaga palagi. As in talaga, this
Wow.
one or that one. Yeah. So I learned to recognize the many different feelings that I had. And so it formed, I guess it sort of formed the foundation for me. Kasi nung nag-lockdown, nirecognize ko muna siya. Mga 2 linggo akong lasing. Di nga,
Okay.
seryoso. Mga 2 weeks gabi-gabi. As in, wawa naman ako. Why is it like this? Why, God, why? Ganon. And then after 2 weeks, I just went, okay, So, yes, your pride, your ego has been bruised, it's been hurt, but you're still alive. What do we do now? Ano yung end? 'Di ba? Kasi yung yes, yes, this is happening right now. Ano yung end? Look for your end. Me, I started looking for my end. And so there, it was really just about the choices that I had given this huge limitation called the pandemic. Ayun. Pero yeah, yung 2 weeks na yon, wala akong silbi sa mundo. Wala akong silbi sa mundo. Kasi talagang wak. Ganun lang. But yeah,
Yeah,
recognizing my emotions, that was
I
that was
love how
very important.
I love how you put it.
Mm.
Yung may period na kailangan mo lang mag-yes.
Oh,
And
oo.
then you look for the end.
Mm.
Yes.
And I want to dissect that. So si Vina nalasing ng 2 linggo
Mm-mm.
to fully embrace that yes. What
Yes.
is what was saying yes to change for you like? Yung yes muna for Dennis and Sabrina. How do you
Yeah.
say yes more to challenges, to the unexpected, to even the unpleasant in your next life and professional journey?
Yes.
I think I'll go first.
Mm.
Actually, it's funny when you ask that question. I just saw a timeline of the 2 years, 2019 to 2021 happening, and I was like, when the pandemic started, it felt like everybody had to say yes, of course, to like because hindi natin makakontrol yung circumstances. And I remember talking to a friend, and we were speaking about how last year was all about your adrenaline to just push
Mm.
forward because you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know when
Yeah.
the world is going to open up, like jobs were gone and whatnot. And then this year, it's more about stamina now because it's almost the same thing as last year, but then how long can you take it further? So I realized, which is like one of the things that I'm gonna say live, but I hope nobody kills me for it. that I'm going through that I'm going through a phase of burnout with a lot of the
Mm.
things in my life. Not gonna
Oh,
specify,
yeah.
but it's like when you're saying yes, kasi, and maybe like in a contrast, you don't put an end or an
Mm.
end. It's
Mm.
like I don't know parang mapapagod ka. So there
Yeah.
has to be a balance with like when do you put that comma and then like and then put like something that releases you or whatever. So this month or for the last couple of weeks, I've been really trying to ground myself back in just focusing on rest. Kasi para I feel like
Hence
the yes,
Siargao.
yes, 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 hence Siargao, hence the beach. I'm kidding. But yun nga, it's like you have to also focus on the end. Like what
Yeah.
do you do now to add to like what you've been agreeing on that is still you or that is still true. So I mean mine is really more focusing on rest, focusing on being able to like just balance like a sense of me. And I think that's really important. One of the things that we forget, especially when we're in lockdown. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ako siyempre mag-share
Ako
ako.
rin.
Show ko naman 'to, bago ko ibibigay kay Dennis.
Go
Um,
ahead.
you know, if I answer the same question, in the past 3 years, I made the decision to say yes to my childhood dream of living in Baguio.
Yeah.
Um,
Mm.
I knew when I was 10 years old na I wanted to live here. I remember telling my mom I want to live in Baguio. And being middle age and Dennis's age, and also I think why I identify a lot with Dennis is I think I've also been quite courageous and parang same philosophy tayo ng go,
Mm.
venture, uproot. Parang ganun rin ako. Not as courageous as moving to another country, but certainly pursuing a childhood dream of saying yes to that. Um, and finding a way to live a meaningful, happy life here.
Mm.
Um, in many ways, spending the pandemic here already as a local citizen was
Yeah.
such a great thing for me and my son
Mm.
here. And another way that I found myself saying yes is yung in the Philippines kasi, Dennis, to get to be one of the first ones vaccinated, prioritize yung first frontline workers.
Yeah.
I'm not a frontline
Mhm.
worker. And then the senior citizens, malayo pa naman ako doon. But third, yung people with comorbidities.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I've been taking medication for a few years for diabetes, but somehow
Mhm.
I didn't call myself a diabetic.
Mm,
I
Okay.
was just saying, "Oh, I'm just taking medicine for blood sugar," but I
yeah.
never found myself saying I am diabetic. Um, because the data was showing na talagang mas at risk ang mga diabetic, and I had the
Mm,
paperwork, I had the prescription, I had the ano, na diabetic ako. I was
Mhm.
able to get my vaccination quite
mm,
early in the process, and because our local government works. Anyway, and then a month and a half ago, I was able to do my executive checkup, the first one in years, in mga 3 years. At hindi lang pala ako diabetic, I'm also hypertensive, and
oh wow.
my cholesterol is also high. And I looked back at the
Mm,
data and realized na sobrang delikado pala ako had I
yeah.
been hit.
Yeah.
And so accepting
Okay.
that at this age, and also parang I'll say it na rin, si Pinoy, Noy Noy
Mm,
died basically of diabetes
yeah.
complications.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my gosh, I have to say yes to my conditions right now. And I'm
Yeah.
gonna find that end and deal
Mm,
with it. So yun ang mga I had to say yes to right now. Now let's go to you, Dennis.
Ay, okay. So, yeah, because napaisip ako dun sa hypertension kasi it's that
mm.
age.
Get
Okay.
yourself self-tested.
Oh, in fact, nasabi ko to sa group ko Improvers dati na yung latest acquisition ko was yung blood pressure monitor.
Mm.
Okay. But
Ayun, no?
ayan, parang ganyan. Yeah. Yes, talk about dealing with constant change. Okay.
Yeah.
Change in blood pressure. Okay. But okay, yes, yung the change, what I realized there is um, at the onset, it sounds exciting, but when reality hits, it's painful. It's painful. A quick story. In 2011, okay, I was doing very well. Actually, like what you said, Gabe, going towards your 40s, you're already almost set. Like
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
was a
yeah.
partner in an agency. Okay, in an agency, and but somehow there was pain inside me that I gave it up. And then the exciting thing was after that mag I went to Thailand for 2 years. Parang ano lang, just to, uh, can I use that word?
Reset.
Unfuck myself.
Yes, you can use it.
Yeah, yeah.
Favorite kong gamitin yan. But, yan.
Oh,
And then, however,
All of a
it
sudden,
was,
it's so clear just with that word. It just,
yes,
yeah,
oh.
okay.
yeah.
It was fun, but when I went back to the Philippines, okay, hindi naman for, pag ayan na, pumasok na yung the pains of okay, the privileges I enjoy before,
Uh,
I can no longer have it. Yung ganon, yung marami na. Okay, it was painful. But if it's clear naman talaga na ayaw mo na yung something, then
yeah.
you just have to move forward with whatever you have. So, uh, fast forward dito, okay, when I decided to yung uproot myself and grow roots here and wings, okay, whisper, okay. Uh, okay. I thought, sabi ko, ay hindi, alam ko na yan.
Isip
Alam
ko,
ko na how it,
whisper with roots?
with roots. Ay, okay. So, okay, so akala ko, alam ko na yan. But no, every circumstance is
Mm,
different. And in fact, okay, in the middle of 2020, Diyan na nagsimula, di ba? Lahat naman tayo, we were so affected. Somehow, in varying degrees, we were depressed, we were sad, we were confused, ganyan. I was that too. And it didn't help that since bago pa lang ako dito, I was growing, setting out a new life. I felt the alienation and even yung, alam mo yung the pains of undiscovering, I would say it, racism. It's real. It's real. And sabi, parang, and that's when I had a chance to have a chat with Angel. With Angel. Sabi niya, alam mo, ito yung napag-usapan namin. Sabi niya, alam mo, improv lang yan eh. Sabi niya, kasi yung,
sabi ko na
diba you have so many things in your mind. You have, improv will allow you to just, alam mo yun, ano ba yan? Anong tawag dyan? Enema?
Improv as enema.
Oo.
Okay.
But sabi ko, there's none. I mean, yung dito kasi hindi ako masaya sa the way they do improv here. It's not the flavor of... Oo, parang syadong seryoso mga tao. In third world improv, you have fun. That's my experience of it. So, sabi niya, ano ka, magkakaroon ng online. Ganyan, sabi ko, online, ayan. Eto, resistant to change. Online, paano yun? Parang, nag-work ba yun? But somehow it saved me from saved me from bills from a therapist. Because when I enrolled...
But let me make the responsible post. Improv is not a replacement for proper therapy. Please go to therapy if you're prescribed. It can help though, but it's not a replacement.
Yeah.
Ay, parang advertising, may disclaimer. Pero totoo naman yan.
Pinipili ng mapili niya.
Okay. Totoo naman. Okay, true naman, it's not a replacement for therapy in any way, but sa akin, personal experience, and maybe some other people I know, it helped them really stay sane in a really crazy world last year. Ganon. And when I joined nga the class of Arin, it was some sort of a lab class, di ba? Yeah. Never have I been so happy. Parang yun, nakakalimutan ko yung craziness because for 1 week and 3 hours I have something. I'm in a playground. So yun, it helped me deal with change. With change. But of course, change is painful. But you have to go through it. Otherwise, you won't end up happy din naman. If you don't.
Yung just to jump off from Dennis's point, you have to say yes first before you can get to the end. Diba kasi two words siya eh. Two words siya, yes first, comma, and then end. You can't get to the end.
May ellipsis pa.
Hindi, no? Yung ellipsis, hindi ka aabot dun sa, kasi yung ellipsis can be anything you want eh. It can be anything that you need it to be. But you can't get to that point unless you say yes first. And yes, it's painful. Yes, it's annoying. Yes, it's terribly constricting, no? Being in the house all day, every day, no? And yes, there's only 2 other people in your life. They're upstairs. Yung ganon. Diba? Parang nobody else except them. No, you have to say yes to that first before you can push forward to your end.
It's funny. True. Vina, I've known you for many years. Huwag na nating sabihing 20 plus. I've actually known you as, and if you don't mind me saying it, a very A personality, quite controlling.
Vina.
From back then. And so was it difficult for you?
Oh yeah. Last year was difficult for the career. It was difficult for the home. It was difficult for my relationships. I mean, my husband, my daughter, and I are all used to always going out of the house. As in, I had my work. I was always traveling. My husband is always traveling. My daughter had her, her school and her friends and all that. And then all of a sudden, you just throw us inside the house. Tapos nandito kami, na kaming tatlo lang. Oh my gosh. You will really get on each other's nerves, right? Pero kasi I guess another thing about improv that helped me was to make my partners look good. No? So yung support. So nandun ako sa yes na, yes, nakakainis ka, gusto kitang sabunutan, pero anak kita, so susuportahan kita. Yung ganon. And I learned to curb my tongue. Yung insisting on my agenda, I learned to rein in on that. Because there's stuff that she needs.
Magandang episode in the future, ang parenting and
diba?
How
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Or opposite naman, like how the daughter or son can, deal with their parents through improv.
Yes.
Parang natamaan ako.
I'm sure ginagamitan I'm sure ginagamitan ako ng konting improv principles ng anak ko. I'm sure. Pero yun, no? Yung support for them kasi parang you just recognize that you're not the only one who's having a lousy time. You're not the only one who's like Dennis said earlier. Dennis said something about it's me. Diba? The problem was me. I mean, you can spend your whole life thinking that the whole world is toxic, but
yes.
How are you gonna move on from that, diba?
Yes.
So na lang kilalanin mo yung toxicity sa sarili mo kasi iyon kaya mong gamutin. The world.
And to relate it to something Dennis said, you can spend your life saying fuck the world, fuck the world, fuck the world, or you can choose to unfuck yourself.
Yes.
You have more control
for the day.
Yeah. My one of my favorite lines in when I do my sessions is kaninong paa ba ang kaya mong ihakbang? 'Di ba sarili mo lang?
Ay. Nahilo ako sandali.
Yun. So yung pagiging type A ko, I think it was more than that, Gabe. I really had let's just say it outright, and I'm sure our schoolmates will agree. I had an attitude problem. Come on. I had not just a type A problem. I had an attitude problem. So parang, and it's taken me I'm 46. I'm not ashamed of it. So I'm 46, and it's taken me all this time to kind of get to that. Kasi nakaka-wrinkles yung sabihin mo yung buong mundo may kasalanan tapos hindi mo tingnan sarili mo.
Just for context, Sabrina, how old are you?
18. Charot. 24.
Oh, pwede ko nang
So kami ni Dennis, double your age. Sorry,
sometimes
ng context.
Sometimes I feel naman I'm around 30. So, medyo malapit.
Kasi ang bilis ng I mean, I'm sorry. Parang for me, the 20s were turbulent. But now, you guys with social media,
oh my gosh,
with all the expectations, the workload so early in your career, oh my God, I bet I feel like I'm 30 also.
Feeling ko nga parang mas well put together ang mga 20s ngayon because when I was Sabrina's age, I'm nowhere near her being responsible.
Pamalatin
na anything at her age.
Yeah, so ganyan na.
I mean, if you think about it, Sabrina's on Spotify. Diba she's done so much already. And when I think 24, inuubos ko lang ngayon.
24, achievement yon. Nakaka-isang kaha ako a day.
Diba?
I do have to note that a lot of the people in our age, I think maybe it comes with the internet as well. Now there's this pressure of everything to be fast-paced, which is something that I had to catch myself. Diba? Kasi with the pandemic, it's like everybody's just cooped up. But then, what are you gonna do, or what can we do? La 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 la. But is it really about the stuff that you can do? Or is it just really about like being there in the present? Kasi parang like the pandemic is actually I don't wanna say it it was a good thing, but like in improv it's like everything is a gift. So like
gift.
it's an offer. So parang the pandemic in a sense isn't like something na parang you just, okay, what can I do? What can I do? La la la. It's just like parang, take it as it is, and then like make something, beautiful out of it
Yeah.
without like needing to like fill up that list or being so I don't know, hard on yourself for your goals. Because I mean that's one of the things that I felt, when you're stuck at home and you're like, but what about the thing that I planned? But what about this? But what about that? And it's
What about
like,
my
whoa.
Excel file?
So that,
Diba?
diba?
Like, ang dami
Yeah.
ko nakilala, maybe my age, are saying, oh, I had so many travel goals, la la la, etc. I mean, those are really, really nice because, and it's also sad that you weren't able to do that. But maybe shifting the perspective from what about this to like, what is something now that I can do? Parang ganun lang
Yeah.
with what I have right now.
I did mention to you, Sab, diba, in one of our conversation na the biggest lie I discovered at 47 ako noon, last year. 47, okay. The biggest lie I realized was you have to put a timeline on your dreams and goals.
Everybody has a pace.
As in
Yeah.
anything, I think. Even
Yeah.
your emotions, no, put a timeline to it because you can feel sad all your life until the day you die.
Nax.
Nax.
Si Vina humirpas. Gusto mo himatay.
Feeling ko ngayon. Bakit ganun?
I'd like to show this comment from Trisha. From Patreng, one of the pandemic's graces, if you can call it that, is to give us room to check on ourselves, embrace the need to rest without shame, reset parts of our lives that have been overtaken by the need to succeed.
Ay. Oo. Winner. Ayan.
And I think
Pareho
that's
nga.
something that we should still practice even, when the world opens up. Kasi, syempre, when the world opens up, everybody's gonna wanna jump in back into their normal routine. But I think that's one of the biggest lessons that we have to, I guess, take home with us or give it as a baon, even if the world comes back to normal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, one of the things that I really, really like about, improv taught me this, but it doesn't have to be just plainly about improv. I think as you grow older, you have to seek out opportunities where you suck at something and you're a beginner at something.
Mhm.
Kasi, kasi as you reach my age, my
Yeah.
whatever, my accomplishments, whatever, you're gonna tend to become like, alam mo, kasi mga kabataan ngayon, etc., etc. And
Yes.
that's the worst attitude to have when you're
Agree.
always telling the world that it should be like this, it should be like this, it should be
Agree.
like this. But when you give yourself opportunities na you're a beginner, you suck at something, etc., then
Mhm.
you're reminded that there's always something to learn and you should be
Yeah.
um, for
Yeah.
me now, Nax, it's
Nax.
I've gone to biking.
Mhm.
Yay.
And I haven't done that since grade school.
Mm.
And joining the local group, etc., being slow and all of that, that really, really
Yeah.
helps among
Yes.
others.
Uh-huh.
Ooh, can I share
Yes,
also?
go ahead.
No, cause yeah, that reminds me. Okay, so ano muna, context muna. And I'm just gonna go ahead and say it matter of factly ha. Hindi po kasi ako pinalaking marunong sa kusina. Hindi ako tinuruan. So I don't know. I don't know anything about housework. I didn't know anything about housework. And then, but what I did know was how to take care of people so that they can take care of me. But in March, no, in February of this year, my home assistant, my ate of 17 years, she decided to go abroad. Pandemic, 'di ba? So parang my husband and I didn't wanna take anybody in. So okay, no replacement. And so with the help of YouTube, I learned how to cook.
Yes.
I learned how to make stuff in the kitchen. I learned how to go down to the basement and bring my own clothes and laundry and do laundry, ganyan. So domesticated, kumbaga. But you're right, no? Yung there's always something to learn. There's always, will I have I discovered the joy of cooking? No, not really. I like it, but if somebody will do that for me, even better. Yung
Go
ganon.
ahead.
Oo. Pero yung at least, I know something. I know something new. I learned something new. And yeah, improv also taught me that, no, na parang it's okay to screw up, even at this age, even at this age, or even with whatever accomplishments or whatever medals you have and whatnot, it's okay to screw up.
Yes. Yes.
I think to add lang to what Vina and Gabe mentioned, I also saw the importance of seeking out to mentors like at an early age, or even when you're even when I probably grow older or younger. It's still good to like have perspective from other different age groups or whatnot, because it really gives you like a lot of knowledge and wisdom. So I'd have to thank Gabe as well for that. Nag-plug. Because he's one of the people that I reached out to when I was, I had so many questions. Until now naman, I have many questions, but he helps a lot on those like perspective stuff.
Yeah.
Thanks, Sab. So Sabrina and I have become close because we have a mentorship relationship, and the way we put it is, I also ask her many things that puzzle me about the generation, the
Right.
youth, etc. So I consider her my mentor as well. So it's mutually beneficial. But the love life,
That's nice.
nag-advise si Sabrina sa
I love it.
Love life. Okay.
Oo. We have more comments. Si Oobs, meron siyang sabi, honestly, going back to improv and trusting in myself that I'd be okay in doing it online really greatly helped me stay grounded and sane during the craziness of being stuck.
Yeah.
That yes led me to an end of many possibilities and
Yes.
self-discoveries.
Possibilities. Yes.
Ganda. O, diba?
Oo.
I mentioned pa, I just have to add, add
Yeah, go ahead.
sinabi ni Vina and Sab, yung about yung sa improv. I just got reminded of how I do things at work now, especially with the interns I have. Yung maraming interns that's under me are very much they want to be in control, and if they know that they will suck at something, ayaw nilang gawin. But I always find myself telling them, "Oh, don't worry, we've got each other's back. Ganyan. We are here to make each other look good, so let's do this together." Laging ganon. And that makes things easier. So,
Yes.
yeah.
So I work. Yeah, ako naman, parang similar. I work with kids. In my job, I work with kids aged 8 to 15. And for me, the most tragic thing for some of the kids is how they become catatonic because of fear of failure.
Mhm.
Sometimes when they have to draw something or assemble something, etc., you come across kids who tell themselves as early as 8 or 7, I don't know how to draw. We run a maker space where we have equipment, we have 3D printers, laser cutters, you can make t-shirts, you can make buttons. And sometimes you have kids who come in and say, I don't know what to do. They want to be told what to do. And there is this huge attitude, which I think traditional schools encourage, an attitude of mistake avoidance above anything else.
Okay.
Even at the early age, the motivation is, wag akong magkamali.
Yeah,
And
I noticed
for
that.
me, that's so tragic.
Yeah. I noticed that also.
It's
Oo. And when it
I can
carries over
relate.
and when it carries over to adulthood, how many people are just completely petrified by the
Oh my
whole
gosh.
notion of mistake avoidance?
Yeah. Yeah. Yung I also get that from a lot of my participants. Yung I just want to tell my boss, tell me na lang what you want me to do. Tell me na lang what you want to get done. Na ako parang, but that's not the thing, see? I mean, trying something out and failing is not actually failing. It's learning. Diba? Yeah. It's
Oo.
just sad. It's a sad state. If you say na 7 years old, parang,
Yeah, so
oh my.
it's what kasi one thing improv taught me or and reinforced in me is
Mm.
power of recognizing possibilities and using your imagination. So, kaya yung, like for example, if we have a project, I did notice that yung consciousness of some of the people around me would be
Mm-mm.
why it will not work.
Mm-mm.
Discussing something, why it will not work. Ako naman,
Ang
lagi,
bilis, no? Yeah.
oo, ako naman parang, well, what if, ganyan, what if,
Yeah.
because it's improv. Yung
Mm.
yes and, ganon. So, I guess it's going, there will be a push and pull, pero,
Yeah.
but sa akin, I'll remain consistent with that.
Yeah. Same. Yung I notice a lot of people yung sinasabi pa lang nila yung idea, okay, siguro yung ganito. Ay, kaya lang, magastos yun eh.
Correct.
Di ba na yung barilan agad ng ideas? Yung parang,
Yes.
kakasabi mo pa lang, binabaril mo na. Na
And in
parang,
creative,
lang.
oo, and in creative professions, kasi galing rin akong ahensya many years ago.
Yeah.
One of the creative trait is magaling mambarel.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Oo.
Ng
Parang
ideas.
barilan agad. Wait lang. Explore mo muna.
Oo.
Mahal!
My business partner has this idea na parang explore mo muna kasi ganyan na uso ang combo meal. 'Di ba? Totoo naman. Kung
Totoo.
i-explore mo yung possibilities, magkakaroon ka ng combo meals.
Yes.
Pwede naman
Yeah.
siguro.
Ako, it's always important to separate in the creative process, separate the creation aspect from the curation aspect.
Mhm. Oh.
Both are good, both are important, but
Yes.
keep them separate muna.
Mhm.
Yes.
Kumbaga, let 1,000 flowers bloom,
Mm.
but only pick the best ones later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The ones that go into
Agree.
your, okay, do that later. But if you have no
Agree.
choice, parang how can you create a beautiful
Because at some point, given that you are human and therefore with limited resources, you're going to have to pick, 'di ba? Pero yung
Yes.
habang nangangarap ka, wag mo munang barilin.
habang
Nangangarap ka pa
nag-scatter
lang
ka ng
ng
binhi, di ba?
Oo, yes.
Oo.
True.
Ay, ang daming more comments here from Sid. We have to accept that what comes our way. How can we not accept? Improv makes accepting more fun for ourselves and for others.
Yeah.
Improv makes others, tour guests, subordinates, strangers, accept me more easily.
Oh, yes, accepting more fun. Improv makes accepting more fun. I couldn't agree more.
Correct. May
Yeah.
yung the biggest argument that I get yung dyan sa yung accept what comes our way. 'Di ba yung sasabihin na parang ay hindi mo wag mo tatanggapin kasi pag tinanggap mo parang nag-give up ka na. Ganyan. On the contrary, pag tinanggap mo muna, then you can plan things out, right? Then you can address it. Kasi if you don't accept if nobody accepted the pandemic last year, saan kaya tayo lahat pupulutin?
Nasa labas tayo lahat.
Diba? Saan kaya tayo lahat pupulutin?
End of human race, I don't know.
Oo, di ba, no? Yeah.
Oo, sabi ni Ria, curated din kasi ang mundo natin ngayon. I love na forced to good to stretch and discover stuff beyond your comfort zone.
It's beyond your comfort zone.
Yeah.
How has improv brought you out of your own comfort zones? I'll start with Sabrina.
Yay! Charot. Sorry. Na-excite. Actually, improv is like a lot of the things that I've been just looking for, like a safe space that you can be yourself. But I guess how it brought me out of my comfort zone was that it taught me more to like mas makiramdam or to just really listen and like maybe let others and trust others, because I have this concept in my life na gusto ko ako yung sumasalo sa ibang tao or I I am the one helping them or
Mm.
supporting them. But then sometimes you also have to put your trust in your partner that parang you have that in mind that they're gonna help you as well, that they're not gonna let you down, and that's scary. Kasi
Yeah.
sometimes diba, you can have like trust issues na, or maybe like a mentality na you want this quality, you want or
Yeah.
something like that. But if you let that all go and you're just like, I trust you, you are a safe space, so I'm just gonna give it, and then whatever you make out of it, and that's gonna be really great. So that's
Yeah.
something that I had to like slowly let go of. Like, all right, I'm gonna jump now. So, yeah.
Parang natatamaan ako.
Ay, boom. Yun na.
Hashtag trust issues daw. Joke lang.
I think I do
Oo.
have trust. I do have trust issues as somebody who's made it this far as a single parent, as parang okay ako eh. I feel
Mm.
really good as a parent. Why do I need to let somebody else into my life?
Yeah.
Anyway,
Mm. Boom. Eto na. And
boom,
for the next hour, charot.
for the next hour. Well, improv and single parenting.
Oy.
Or improv and love life.
Ay.
I
I mm,
Hi. Please nominate who our guests will be in Improv and Love Life in the comments, and we shall consider.
Lagot tayo
Actually,
dyan.
having a love life is optional. Just kahit
Yes.
applied theoretical.
Oo nga.
Sabi ni
Oo.
Andoy, startups would benefit from Improv's yes and you cannot predict how the market will react to your new product or service. Kailangan subukan at harapin ang pagbabago para tumubo.
correct. Now you
Correct.
tell that to your clients. Okay.
Oo.
I have had the chance to apply improvisation in the startup world for the past 10
Yeah.
years. I've been with an incubator called Idea Space.
Mm.
And we do start parang every year with a very quick improv boot camp on how to pivot on the fly. And it's something we also do with the makerspace and accelerator that we have here in Baguio called Vivita. So it's starting, it's beginning actually.
Yeah.
Si Oops,
Galing, galing.
sabi rin, as a teacher in school, ang sarap makita sa mga estudyante once they see that making mistakes is okay. Ika nga sa improv, mistakes may be the best gifts you can give to everyone.
Along with the
Yeah,
whole
yeah.
word.
Agree.
Oo. It's not naman that we're encouraging people to mistakes or saying
Wow.
literally mistakes are okay, especially in a professional context where mistakes can cost
Oo naman.
billions of
Money.
pesos
Like building
or
it, ganun.
or life
Or
or you
lives,
might
yeah.
even lose lives. For us, it's just having a better attitude towards yun nga, yung mistake avoidance talaga.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Oo.
That's true.
Si Jenica,
Yes.
this reminds me of Brene Brown's research on shame.
Yeah.
Mm.
Improv has done a lot for me, yung dun sa shame. Because I don't like failing. I do not like making mistakes. I hate it. As super hate. Yung talagang parang kulang na lang magkulong na lang ako sa kwarto forever pag nagkamali. No? So pre-improv. And then parang slowly I learned how to yun nga, let go, no? As Sab said, to let go of things na kung wala ka naman talagang control, right? So yun. Does that mean that I've completely neglected my habit of planning? No, I still have Excel files and calendars. What are you talking about? I still have those. But if they don't go exactly as column A says na it will go, inom kang tubig, hanggang malalim, and then go again. Try again. Yes. Huwag masyado maloka.
On a totally different, just as a side comment, I discovered in the last 2 years that there are projects by Microsoft's Education Foundation arm that you can, for example, hook up Microsoft to an Arduino system and a DIY robotic hand, and lalabas yung values. Excel can become a dashboard for the movement of a robotic hand. You
Why
just
are you telling me this, Gabe?
Ate.
Pero
Let me call
natuwa ako
Agnes.
when I
Hello,
saw it.
Agnes.
Parang pwede palang Excel as a dashboard for the mga inputs on a robotic hand. I'll send you the link.
Why are you saying this? Why?
I just want to also say,
Go,
yung sinabi
Sabrina.
ni Vina kanina, we sort of mind meld. Kaya ako nagre-react backstage. Kaya I was like, you're saying what's in my
Diba?
head right now. Because it's, parang, there's a lot about, nawala na yung fly. Nag-fly na yung thought. But I just want to say, nag-mind meld tayo when you were saying something about control. I also am somebody who likes organizing things, like Excel sheet, like even our trip in Siargao has to be like budgeted, where we stay,
Oh,
what
you're
are
one
the
of
requirements.
Yep.
Gina J.
I'm secretly a type A in some ways naman, but the things that I learned with improv is like, when things don't go according to plan, fine, go, free.
Yeah.
As in, like, it's all right. And then kasi before I get so frustrated, before improv, na parang pag hindi siya nasusunod, like kunyari 8 p.m. na, tas 8, parang kanina ka pa dapat nakarating ng 7:55, 5 minutes lang parang, parang hindi eh. Ang hirap eh. Pero pag ngayon, if it doesn't happen, I get so frustrated, before improv, na parang, there. Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
I just heard myself like a time lapse of it. Okay. Then, yun nga. So I just realized it's okay. Like, if it doesn't happen, it's all good. It's all good.
Exactly.
How do you guys travel? Ako, I travel by making a long list of different things I would like to do, and then optimizing using Google Maps, which neighborhood to go to, and then just deciding on the proximity of things there. So parang there's a lot of options, but the curation actually is only dictated by the amount of time and the proximity to each other. Kayo, how do you travel?
Similar. Basta I only plan yung mga time and date, yung mga ganon, yung mga flight. Pero once I'm there,
Yes.
in fact, I want to get lost in where I am.
Yes. Yes.
Parehas kami nagre-react.
To the minute
hindi na
copy
parang,
na.
I actually have my Broadway tickets already in my bag before I fly out of Manila. If I don't, I cannot. I cannot. Masisira ulo ko. But you know what? I think it's also because of my environment. I run with talagang heavy planning people. I know somebody, shout out na naman. I know somebody who plans his movie watching on the plane so that he avoids jet lag. Yeah. So
But that's a good
anyway,
hack.
yeah.
It's a
It's
good
a good hack. It's a very good hack. It's
It's
just
a
something that
yeah.
I can't seem to I can't seem to get down pat. But anyway, pero yung kumbaga if let's say yun nga, like Sab said, kung may pumalpak doon, hindi na ako maghahagis na parang hindi na ako magdadrama. Yung ganyan, parang okay. Okay, so it's not happening. Okay. What now? And what? Yung ganon.
For me, I love planning with Excel sheets. I don't know, that's just me. It's like, it's nice to see everything. It's nice to see everything. Like, especially when you're on a budget and you don't want to go overboard or something. Parang, you just, sometimes nga, like, I remember when I did the backpacking trip for Thailand, I was on a limited budget because I didn't have work yet. So, of course, I had to, like, keep everything at bay because if sumobra, baka di na ako makauwi. So, so parang ganun, everything's on Excel, just the list of accommodations and like, like stuff that you also list down things you want to do. And then when you get there, parang you kind of know already what days you want to do this, that when you get a feel of the place. I think with the pandemic rin kasi, it's like you have to be more careful with planning. There's a lot to consider. Like, can you rebook?
Dami na.
Is there a refund? So I had to be more, parang specific in planning this year when it comes to traveling, which is also nice.
Yeah. One thing siguro that I will stop doing, and that's because of the pandemic has widened the perspective, yung just being careful. I would probably stop pre-booking or prepaying for stuff. Parang if I can avoid prepaying, I probably will choose that option na.
Or yung may rebook or refund.
Kasi nga,
I
wala na
realized I miss traveling so much.
Ganun pa din.
Yeah.
But the joys of traveling alone, it's very
Sarap yun.
easy to get Broadway tickets.
Yeah.
Kung may mga shows na, isa na lang ang seats.
Yeah.
It's easy to hard to get into restaurants because nobody
True.
books alone ever.
Mag-isa
So,
ka lang. Yeah.
yeah. So, nagpupunta ako sa mga, mga highly reviewed restaurants with months of waiting lists. Punta ka lang, line
Yeah.
up. Kahit papano, the doorman will say, "Are you alone? Okay, we have one space. Go in."
Yeah.
It's such a joy.
Maraming na tip si Arin dyan eh. Okay.
Oo.
Tapos pag uwi mo, iiyak ka na lang mag-isa sa room. Pero okay lang. Wait, believe it or not, we've reached 1 hour already.
Ang saya!
And I think there's a good, before we, if it's okay with you, we'll extend a little bit. We've got a lot of comments that we can go through. But before that, please tell us about the things that you are into right now. And let's start with Vina, Nax.
Yes. So this was my lockdown baby. Actually, I wrote this in 2019 when I went to the last time I traveled. Oh, the last time I traveled, I was able to complete the manuscript for this, and then lockdown happened, and so we weren't able to print it. We weren't able to launch it, but this is a lockdown baby in a sense when the economy started to open up a little bit, we went straight into getting it printed and getting it delivered already to the house. And then thank you to Third World Improv. Thank you so much for helping me launch it last September. So mag-go 1 year na tong baby ko actually.
Wow,
So,
already.
Yes. So Make a Choice has a lot to do with improv stuff. This is, you are presented with whatever life offers you. Take it as a gift. And then, yes, end it. Make choices, no? But first, accept it. Yes. And then make choices around whatever you know and whatever you have. So I hope that, and then I've got about seven stories here, and it's a choose your own adventure type of book.
Very nice.
Yeah. So yun.
So
So I
it's-
hope that
it's-
you guys.
It's not just telling you about change, it's making you do change, even in the experience of enjoying the book.
Yeah. Actually, honestly, siguro if the pandemic hadn't happened, the lockdown hadn't happened, I probably would not have made the choice to discipline my food and to discipline my workout. And happy to say that I have lost about 40 pounds in the process.
Pretty. Wow.
Yeah, about 40.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. And
Ending.
how can they get your book?
Just email me at vvvicente@gmail.com.
Yeah, okay. So
Thank
make a
you.
choice, vvvicente@gmail.com.
Yes.
Sab, another
Yay!
movie during the lockdown.
Yay! Yes, it's also my baby. Charot, may baby
Mm.
na siya. Baby during the lockdown. It's my first ever song in Spotify. It's Hanggang Dito Na Lang Muna. It's actually initially just a song, but then I really wanted to incorporate spoken word poetry in it because that's also something that I'm super duper passionate about. So it was weird for some people that they couldn't imagine how it was, but that's one of the things that you kind of like just yes end it and then like but then yeah, so that's my baby. It's almost a year as well because I launched it around September.
Mm.
And it's funny because when I was playing this song for like somebody who recently passed away, a friend, it changes its meaning. Like a song can definitely change a meaning. Doesn't have to just be love life or something that you're going through right now that you wanna put a comma and like hanggang dito na lang muna yon and then where do you go to from next? So hope you guys can listen on this and I am hoping to release another song this year. Yay! Thank you.
Parang natamaan na naman ako sa comment na yan about people passing away. Kasi I have a work colleague na nagkukwentuhan ka, so we see each other, several times a week. Tapos, my work colleague is also my college batchmate.
Mm.
So, yes, just last week, um, I started my statement by saying, "Uy, kilala mo si ganyan?" Parang batchmate namin. And the context is bibisita yung taong yun sa Baguio like in the next few
Mm.
weeks. O sabi tapos sabi niya, "Oh, ano na naman 'yan? May transplant, namatay,
Oh,
may COVID, may ano." Tapos we
oh
just realized
no.
lahat na ng kwento ko tungkol sa kanya is about a batchmate who either passed
Oo.
away or has health issues. It's like that when you're my age.
Yeah, true. Mm.
Oo. So many, so many different comments that we've had enjoying this discussion. Sandali lang ako rin ang ako rin ang naglalagay. Sabi ni
Ang
Jenica,
moderator. Yes.
I don't think the goal is to solve or address one's type A
Yeah.
personality. It's a neutral type of thing. I think what has worked for me is to keep the type A side of myself when it comes to tasks and temper it when it comes to dealing with people, thanks to it.
Agree.
Correct. For me, different types of thinking and different types of assertion or listening, depending on the task. And improv is really good when it comes to dealing with diversity, dealing with
Mm.
task is building community, building a team together. While being a type A personality is about getting things done.
Yeah.
When you can balance when to use one,
True.
uh,
That's true. That's true.
comes ito, sabi ni Jeffy, I have a list of everything like ilang shirts, pants, even toiletries that I bring. And then check ko ulit bago mag-pack pa uwi.
Oh, Jeffy, nagro-roll ka ba or nagfo-fold? O, di ba?
Talagang may
Ano
limit.
roll kayo?
Ako rin, roll.
So,
Basta lagay lang dyan, charot.
I love the quote about there are two types of people in the world. One that just packs and checks on the day off and discovers that they have may kailangan silang padala sa laundry just the day off. And the other one is the one that packs 3 weeks ahead and they end up marrying each other. That's true.
oh
Oh my God, that's me.
Mm.
That's me.
Yeah, yun.
Are you watching? I hope you're not watching. But if you're watching, I love you.
Ako, travel itinerary sa likod ng resibo. Tapos day zero is spent trying to figure out saan ko siniksik yung resibo.
Oo nga, my gosh.
Oo.
Nakakaloka.
Si Oops,
Yes.
tatlong Excel sheets with 3 permutations of plan.
Lang.
Plan A, plan C,
Oh.
plan C.
Oo. I think I'm more like that.
Yeah.
Pag ako tinanong mo, what plan?
what permutation? Charot.
Nasa post-it pero nawala. Okay.
I don't think I'll be able to get rid of that control freak overthinking portion. Improv is not a magic word that solves a type A within a person, but it does greatly coax one. Coax.
Cool.
Well, it did with me to Be okay with not okay situations. And the
Yeah.
gentle invitation is a godsend.
Galing naman ni Andres Montiel. Gusto
Si
ko siyang
Andoy. Hi, Andoy.
I adore.
uh, mm, mm. What a Alam mo ba si Angel magaling magtapon ng mga
Yes.
winners such as
Correct.
ako ang nanalo or
Oo.
gano'n.
Ang favorite ko sa kanya is saan tayo kakain. Yun lang talaga. Saan tayo kakain.
Meron kami sa group yung jowa ko na hindi. Oh,
That's so angel.
Correct.
That is so
love
angel.
you, Angel. Okay.
Sabi ni Ria, I love Excel sheets so much, it hurts.
Oh. Talagang ang Excel, very popular pala. Even in the
Correct.
improv world. Okay.
Ay,
Yeah.
pakita ko sa iyo yung amin. Joke lang.
Yeah. So with that, I'd like to thank you so much for today's episode. Thank you. Thank you.
Yay!
Wonderful,
Thank you.
wonderful discussion. And of course,
Thank you
to
po.
everyone else who tuned in. We've been really, really enjoying the episodes that we've had of Eye to Eye. Actually, ganyan rin
Yeah.
ang airing schedule ng Eye to Eye. It's, kung kailan na lang natin feel. This is the first time namin ginawa na 2 weeks in a row. And we've had so many topic suggestions. And one thing that Jenica suggested that I'm really interested in, paano kaya ang improv and social justice?
Ay.
If you have other comments,
Oh,
please,
wow.
on topics that you'd like us to make talakay in the next few episodes, just let us know. Send me a message. Start a thread on the Twee community. On behalf of all my wonderful guests today, thank you, Dennis.
Thank you. Thank you. And it's my pleasure. It's my pleasure to share whatever I can, whether it made sense or not. Just here to share.
Thank you, Vina.
Thank you very much. Anytime improv calls, I'm there.
Yes.
And thank you, Sabrina.
Yay! Thank you so much po. Yes po. Thank you everybody. I learned a lot
Hinabol
and
pa,
I'm
hinabol
so
pa yung
excited.
po.
Sorry, I'm so
naman.
excited to learn more about everyone and improv.
Yep.
And with that, thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you in the next episode of Eye to Eye Improv Conversations with Gabe Mercado. On behalf of Gabe Mercado, thank you so much. See you next episode.
Thanks,
Bye.
Carl.
Bye.
Bye, Carl.
Bye, Carl.
Bye, Emery.